Welcome in to another video. Today we're having a look at the TrainingPeaks virtual latest update. Here we have some new graphical features which people have been calling out for a while, some new roads which include a couple of little crit courses which are interesting given the dynamics in play in TPV. They're also offering, I think, a freebie on Tuesday. And they've got some kind of user interface upgrades, which you can kind of see here. When you enter the game, they've got this blue purpley type transition. It comes up with some kind of suggestions for you that you might want to do based on the day. So workout of the day, you can explore some routes and that kind of thing. I'll talk more about that later. For this one, I kind of want to mainly focus on the features in the game itself. So let's get into that now. Just setting up now. Here are some of the new routes, mostly based around this crit area. I'm going to check out one that isn't part of my events today. So connecting up all my sensors and heading into the game, and we will get into it. Just before I get into the riding itself, I realized I was in Zen mode when I started. So this is where you're kind of on your own and you can't see any of the other riders in the world. I don't like this, so I quickly changed it. But it's a really cool option if you're someone who just wants to really focus in and get down to business. Alrighty, let's focus on graphics. So this is Georgetown. It's sunny. It has a bit more visual pop than what it did before. I like the way they're kind of heading with this. It's got a bit of character about it, which is a definite upgrade. Um, Here we are heading back into the kind of coastal area of the route, and this is where a little bug popped up. I'm sure this one will be fixed really quickly. But as we head around this corner, we get a little arrow. The course goes left, but the arrow and the names don't match up. It's saying we're going right to the coast and the lake is left. That is the opposite. So I'm assuming here we're going to actually follow the course, the coast and roast reverse that I'm on, and it does so. Now, another feature, this isn't new, but it's one I've never tried. And given I was kind of cruising around before my events, I thought I'd give it a go. Cruise control. So you can essentially be free riding and set the trainer to erg mode to keep you at a steady power. I'm normally someone who likes to free ride to the terrain, but I tried it out, and today I actually quite enjoyed this feature. So you can see here I've got the cruise control set to 230 watts. I just ride to a natural cadence, and my trainer kind of gives me that resistance to keep me hovering around the 230 watt mark. So a nice little feature that doesn't really exist on other platforms straight up in free riding. So that's a nice little one. You can see there's some new graphical elements on the coast here. You got lighthouses new. It's a slightly different feel about the world. I mean, it's still got work to do, but there's certainly been improvements to some other areas of the world, I would say. Now I'm going to actually take you into the events that I did. Today is a bit of an in-between day before SRC. Some people would probably do openers on this day. Now today I used a couple of little events as openers. Now my goal for this is to essentially have a little test of the crit course. I felt like this would be like a moderate stimulus without being too hard, just for about 15-20 minutes, and then have a bit of a break, tick off that route. Then I'd do a little 2.2k route, which would be about a 3-minute effort. Again, that would be like a VO2 effort to kind of fire up the cylinders, keep things ticking, make myself hopefully feel good for SRC on Sunday night. So we are heading into a 2-lapper on Coast and Roast. Now, interesting to try and test out the crit circuit racing, the dynamics with the cornering and the braking and that kind of thing to see how it was. I will put full links to both of these races if you want to watch the entire duration in the description. I'll cover over the key bits here so you don't have to watch the full thing, but they are available if you would like to watch them. So out of the start gates here, we've got about 50 or so riders. This course has quite a lot of corners. I was interested to see what would happen. You can see my brake indicator in my display there on the left. That will go off when I'm hitting too fast speeds around the corners. I was interested to see when that would go off and how that would impact the speeds. But for now, I'm just settling into the bunch in the first part of the race, knowing that a lot of these races, it's pretty easy to draft, and then also knowing that it's going to be hard to get gaps out of corners. And also, I'm not really competitive today because for me, this is more of openers. So I'm not actually wanting to smash myself or anything like that. See riders going around the corner there. We're all getting braked. Just trying to figure out the dynamics of this. Now, I'll take you to a bit of a more conclusive section a bit further on. So about 4.5 minutes into this race, and I'm really able to kind of cruise in the draft along the coast here. There's just 5 or 6 riders up ahead, but for now I'm just kind of in the draft, sitting around zone 2. Um, I think I was predicted to get 12th in this race for whatever reason. So I'm not too fussed about that. But I have seen the top bot, Ting Tae Kong. He is the only bot that I really rate on TrainingPeaks Virtual, to be honest. He's the only one that really challenges me when I have a proper crack at things on most courses. So giving it a little bit of juice up this hill, coming out of the corner with momentum, and you can see what that does. Holding speed there, we were able to quickly kind of close the gap to the front, but we do shut it back down as we head into the crit circuit. The frequent braking just means that that you've got to just either fully commit or you'll get caught straight away by people that have different momentum. So coming into the lap marker, and there's a group about 10 or 12 seconds up ahead there. I'm just sitting off the back of these guys, which include Ting Tae. So I'm feeling like if I'm with him, I know that things are probably going to be okay. Get the little route badge for completing the route. I am going to put in a little dig in a minute on the hill to try and close some of that gap down and try and be near the front for the second lap. So let's watch how that goes. Now, it's been a long time since I've actually done a crit, and no other game is really have cornering dynamics like this, but I'm certainly not feeling like this is realistic. But it's got a bit of a knack to it, the way that you go into the corner. But if you carry too much speed, you get super braked, and then guys that take less speed can accelerate quicker. It's just not quite right with the positioning versus the braking and the momentum. Like it just, yeah. But anyway, I have a little dig out of this corner as soon as my brake hits 0, and I start to close that gap down to the leaders myself. You can see here I'm really quickly closing the gap with a bit of a 800 watt effort. But I carry heaps of speed into that corner. Then I kick out of it again, try and close the rest of that gap. It's going to take a little bit of time to do that with all these frequent corners. Come back off it and back up on it again. It's a tricky one to try and make ground here with the frequent stopping and starting. But it's certainly an interesting dynamic, that's for sure, as I follow this rider and we eventually get across pretty comfortably very soon as we head into the coastal section again. All right, we've got 1.5Ks to go, and there are 13 of us in the lead group. So I'll let this play out in terms of getting a feel for the dynamic of the course. My eyes are mainly on Ting Tae Kong, the Chinese bot. So we kick it up a notch because at this point, a lot of the riders are starting to kind of pick the pace up out of the corners. It's been a pretty comfortable race. So 288 normalised, that's 135 average heart rate. So it's certainly ticking the box of more of an unstructured opener than a hard effort. So I'm not complaining today. As we hit the 1K to go flag, someone kicks it up a bit. So at the moment, I'm kind of kicking out of the corners and then relaxing because you get braked super hard anyway. So if you can take a slower speed into the next corner, you get the opportunity to kick it up quicker than guys coming from behind you, if that makes sense. So it's Ting Tae and I here. Again, we ease up a bit before the corner, slow the speed. He gets braked more than me, so I'm able to kind of follow his wheel without too much concern there. As we're into the last half a kilometre, really interesting how this one plays out. And spoiler alert, this is actually my best sprint of 2025 about to come up. So heading in, we've got 2 corners to go. Ease into the second last corner, and then Tingtay goes right there. I'm a little slow to respond. Up over 980 watts. We relax one more time. This is going to get super braked into the last corner. 150 meters to go, and we have to go absolutely all in. He's got a big gap, and there's the watts, the biggest kick of mine for the season. And are we going to get there? Oh, there we go. Pretty happy with that for a random little bot race. Just grabbed the win, about 1,020 for 5 seconds. So interesting dynamic. As I said, it certainly didn't feel like I hated crits when I used to ride outside a bit, but yeah, it felt interesting, but it was fun. And then I started this race. This couldn't have been any more different. So a little 3-minute race. I expected everyone to get fully auto braked into this corner, but it didn't happen. They went around the corner at 60 k's an hour, and so I just wanted like a 3-minute effort at like I don't know, like 7 watts a kilo, 440 watts, 430 watts, or at least to be around that and then ease into the corners. But they just got that gap. They didn't break around the first corner, uh, and then it's kind of game over. I don't know if this race didn't have braking on for a reason, or it does now. So I'm kind of like just dangling, getting a little bit of draft, but trying to stay steady because I'm just here for an effort. Like I'm not actually wanting to flog myself today and do 500 watts for 3 minutes. But I'm just kind of dangling off the back, kicking out of the corners at a nice effort. I actually felt superb here. Feel like the legs are good. Ease into the corner and up we go again. Up into around 500 watts again. Um, Short races, the bots on TrainingPeaks tend to be like always really strong. And when you're not in the draft, like I'm not a big guy, so I'm just suffering compared to them. So they completely outsmarted me on that first corner, and I predicted that they'd get braked, and it didn't happen. A K to go, pretty much repeats the whole way down into the finish. This direction has a long finishing straight. I basically get myself back into the draft for the downhill final 400 meters. But by that stage, it's too late to do anything. And again, I'm kind of keeping this opener type effort. It's actually, yeah, as I said, like it's felt really good. 2 minutes 40, up over 500, feeling comfortable. So we come across the line last. I usually do these races unranked. Because I'm not trying all out. There's a purpose for it, but I accidentally put ranked on this one, so that's going to impact my ranking. Unfortunately, which you'll see come up on the screen in a second. We lose a few points there, but yeah, that's a little bit of crit racing and showing you some of the new visual elements of the crit track in Georgetown. I'll then finish off with another little route badge. 2-lapper, just set up a group ride with bots. I think there might have actually been a couple of real people in this by the way that a few people rode. So that was good. So again, just kind of really getting a feel for all of the different sections of the course. I felt very lost and dizzy on this route. It was kind of like a pretzel of both directions. Over 9k, so never really knew where I was or where I was turning next. But yeah, it was cool. Obviously, because there's only that few k of roads, I won't spend a heap of time here. But if you like crit racing and that kind of thing, you'll probably have a bit of fun testing some of that stuff out. Just finishing a bit more of the visual side of things. They've changed the kind of to that, as I said, that bluey purpley display setup. The normal world hasn't changed too much. There's a little bit, but wouldn't say it's like a crazy visual overhaul. But yeah, you've got your elements there, workout of the day, suggestions, group rides, pacer groups, things you can explore, and then all the normal stuff like with your workouts. Obviously, using TrainingPeaks a bit because of some of the customization features that the other platforms don't have. So I like to do workouts in like on mountains or like in races and that kind of thing. again, different modes. You can put yourself into workout modes. But yeah, I like to do, say, my 3 15-minute threshold efforts. I find a race course with 15-minute mountains and race bots. I find it far more motivating. Even setting up group workouts is far more motivating because it feels like the bots are doing the workouts with you. In this screen, now it's your profile. That's where you organize events and stuff. Yeah, there's my poor ranking points from today that I lost, but that's all in there. Didn't talk about the new bike that I'm on, but I'll put that bit of footage here. There's a new Specialized in game. You can't change the color of the tarmac, but still. And then obviously my customizable Aussie Champs jersey with the Mackay Cycles logo on there. Was able to kind of put that together and send to them. Added their logo on the back as well. It's a bit like split at the arms, which you can see when I show you the Specialized bike. But anyway, it's still cool. That's the new TPV update. A bit all over the place with some of the things there, but it's cool. Let me know your thoughts. Free for all, I think, on August 5th to have a try. So jump on it. There's some really cool customization. I've ditched my Strava premium to have TrainingPeaks. I don't know if I like the decision yet. I still prefer Strava, I think, but I'm doing okay without it for now. So yeah, interesting pros and cons to all that stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Cheers.